Today we continue with our series, Caring for Your Mind. Last week we had the first part of depression and the lies we tell ourselves. We discovered that depression is rampant in the United States, especially during these difficult times. Depression also has us with cognitive distortions, which are lies that we tell ourselves. And we introduced the first lie that we typically tell ourselves, which is all or nothing thinking or black and white thinking. Usually looking at our personality traits of attributes and putting them in all or nothing thinking. I'm all bad or all good, in really having unrealistic expectations on ourselves. Today we continue with the rest of the lies and how to deal with them. The second lie is overgeneralization. This is kind of an arbitrary way of looking at things as well. We might think, well, something happened to us in the past and we didn't like what happened. And for example, let's say a dog bite us. Actually, this happened to me when I was little. My friend's dog just came running out of the house when I said hi to her. He bit me. And then for a while there, growing up, I was afraid of dogs, that they all were going to bite me. Well, the reality is that dog bite me, but I have encountered other dogs after that, and they didn't. But a while there, I didn't want to approach dogs because I was really afraid that they were going to bite me. So that's overgeneralization, that we have an experience that we are afraid that will happen again, and so we say, oh, this always happens to me. And so it's an arbitrary way that we conclude that things might happen to us. Next is a mental filter. That is that you pick a negative detail to focus on. For a second right now, look around your house. Look at where you're sitting right now. What's the first thing you notice? Was it something positive? Or was it something negative? Was it the little piece of paper that is out of place? What is it? So negative, the mental filter that we're talking about is situations in which we tend to focus on the negative instead of the positive. The next one is disqualifying the positive. So this one is not just merely looking at the negative aspects of our situation. This is when somebody says something positive to us, we have a tendency to discount it or say something negative. So let's say somebody, oh, I really liked your painting, or I really liked your song. Oh, I was off key, I was this, instead of just saying, thank you, I appreciate that. But not disqualifying something that somebody's giving you a compliment. So that disqualifying the positive. The next one is jumping to conclusion. This one is us reading the mind of other people. Oh, I know what that person's thinking. I know what they're gonna say. I might be running late to work, and suddenly my boss is coming around the corner, and you're like, yep, I know what he's thinking. Do you? I mean, you can guess, but that doesn't mean that you really know what they're thinking. They might be distracted, they might be doing something else that they haven't even noticed. Or they're understanding and not putting so much pressure, but you are. So mind reading is trying to figure out what other people think, anticipating their thoughts, and reacting as whatever you think they think is the truth, when in reality you have no clue. Another part of that jumping to conclusion might be, let's say for example, a student who is about to take a test. He's like, I know I'm gonna flunk this test. I know I'm not gonna pass this test. Guess what's gonna happen? He's not gonna pass the test. It's kind of fulfilling prophecy because you already said that to yourself in your mind. But in reality, you could have passed the test, study and do all that. So jumping to conclusion is another lie that we tell ourselves. The next lie is magnification and minimization. So magnification also is known as a catastrophizing. That is, I lost my keys. Where are my keys? I won't be able to get to work. If I get late to work, I'm going to be fired. If I get fired, I won't be able to pay the house. We're going to be on the street homeless. You just lost your keys and you're already thinking about being homeless. So that's taking things out of proportion, catastrophizing. It keeps you from really coming up with a solution to your problem. You can also do the opposite, minimizing. It might be with great pains in situations. You know, somebody beat you up, let's say, and you go, oh, no big deal. It's okay. That didn't hurt my feelings. Yeah, it didn't hurt your feelings. It hurt you physically. You're totally bruised. So not making a big deal out of situations that might be a big deal can be a problem. The next one is very common actually with people who are depressed. Emotional reasoning. If I feel this way, therefore that is reality. So if I feel like I'm not worth anything, it's because I'm not worth anything. So if I feel that my life is terrible, my life is terrible. So emotional reasoning is talking about that our feelings are the reality. And it's a little bit like the thoughts. Just because you think something doesn't mean it's real. And your feeling is real. You feel that way. But it doesn't mean the situation is really what you think it is as you feel. The next cognitive distortion is the should statements. This is hard. Every time I'm trying to explain to somebody what a should statement is in therapy, I always end up right after I finish my cognitive distortion coming with a should. And I go, oops, I did it again. We all do it. But it's the ought or not, or should not that we have. It's the set of standards. Sometimes the set of standards that we have in a lot of people and telling them they should or should not do this. And we get frustrated. Oh, the car that got off in front of me, they shouldn't do that. And I'm mad because they should not be doing that. It doesn't matter that I have done the same thing to 20 other cars before, but you cannot do it to me. So the reality should statements are things that we might say, sometimes arbitrary, that we are the ones who decide that people should not be doing this and that. If I decide nobody enters my house with a hat on, nobody should do that. Said who? Well, I did because it's my house, but is it really because it makes sense? And I'm going to be upset because of that? So should statements really get us really worked up and angry at times because we're running around saying people should not be doing this or that. And really is very controlling in our minds when we're trying to control other people's behavior, of course, because that's impossible. Another lie that we tell ourselves is labeling or mislabeling. We make a mistake. I'm such a dumb person. You made a mistake. Why are you labeling yourself that? And the problem is we don't do that just to ourselves. We do it to other people. We kind of think, everybody from the purple community is lazy. I'm just using that for no using one particular, just because you met one person that perhaps was tired and didn't work one day. Or typically didn't work because when he worked for you because that person didn't have a good standard of work or was tired. Who knows why? But you pick one person and made it and label an entire community of purple people, poor purple people, to be lazy people. That's labeling other people. And let's say you met 100, but did you meet every single one of them? So labeling is very destructive, not only to others, but to yourself, because you tend to label yourself or mislabel yourself and other people. So that's another lie that we tell ourselves. The next lie we tell ourselves is personalization. Personalization is taking everything personal. That person's look at me wrong. I know they don't like me. We can take, a person might have a bad day and came through the door and acted irritated with you. Might not be about you. People do a lot of things that even put on us, but that have nothing to do with us. So let's look at now the steps that we can take to deal with the lies that we tell ourselves. First, like in everything else, is having awareness. What lie is it that we continuously tell ourselves? And don't let them just linger in your head. Defy those lies that are coming to your head. Refute it. So let's think about the ways to refute it. First, I would say have a strong but nice, non-judgmental voice in your head. You know, we all have a self-talk, a voice in our head. And usually, and many times, it's a negative one that is like, you see, you're terrible, telling you things in a voice that is very judgmental. Why don't you come up with a different voice? A voice of whatever you think is best for you, but that is soothing, that is non-judgmental, but is strong, is specific, but balanced. Because we need a balanced voice in our head. So substitute then the lie with an objective thought. So let's say, for example, that this always happens to me. Come up with the times that it hasn't happened to refute that lie that just came through your mind. Or that the mental filtering that says something negative. What about focusing in something positive in that situation? What about magnifying the situation? What about refuting it and say, I just lost my keys? Doesn't mean I'm going to lose my job and everything I have. Many times we respond that way. It's about thinking in a different way, bringing truth to falsehood. So we substitute the lies with truth. So let's substitute the lies that are continuously floating in our minds with positive things. So have a strong voice of rebuttal that says no to the lies and bring truth to your mind. We'll see you next week in the session on caring for your mind.